Well, one of the things that often people mistakenly think is that because George Muller is a great hero of the faith and hero of prayer, that somehow prayer came easily to him and that he never actually faced any problems or difficulties. But when you think about it, all the 10,000 children that were cared for during his lifetime were fed and clothed and educated, cared for in every way through the prayers of George Muller. I mean, he prayed specifically every day for that provision for the children. And had he not been praying for those things, then the children wouldn't have been fed or clothed or educated in the way that they were. And that, in a sense, is a struggle. It's reminiscent of Paul, who said, that every day I struggle in prayer for the churches that I'm responsible for. And in the same way, George Muller struggled in prayer in order that every day those prayers might be answered. But there were specific challenges. One example is, of course, that when the behaviour of children was such that they needed to be expelled from the orphanage, which was rare but occasionally the case. But even things like the modern 19th century heating system broke down on one occasion, and he prayed that that it might be mended. That the drains got blocked on one occasion, and he prayed that they'd be unblocked, and they were miraculously unblocked. There are all sorts of miraculous answers to prayer, but they're born as a result of struggles and challenges. And there were people who also believed that George Muller was too good to be true, that somehow his testimony of answered prayer was in some way made up. It was some way invented. Somebody said to me recently, well, he was a millionaire, wasn't he? So he was bound to be able to care for these children. Well, the answer is that he wasn't a millionaire. He didn't have any money at all of his own. Everything that he had came from God, and often came through struggling and striving in prayer. The Bible talks about the woman who pleaded before the judge, and his experience of prayer was not just that God answered prayer easily, but that sometimes he struggled in prayer, and that's quite a challenge for us, really, too. So there were crises and struggles, and of course I suppose the most famous story of all, which was the story of the fog, that was a struggle, wasn't it? He needed to get to a preaching engagement and was marooned in fog off the Newfoundland coast, and he prayed that God would clear the fog, and God did, and he still got to his preaching engagement on time. So yes, he was a man like us with the sort of struggles that we have, but he prayed to a God who can get rid of the fog and who can provide for 10,000 children and can mend heating systems and unblock drains.